doing well.
All right. So for all of my millions of viewers out there watching, right? If you don't know, this is my man Scotty. He is one of our sports performance trainer here at Active Strength, and a longtime friend of mine, right? Just to let you guys know that I don't just trust anybody with the kids, with the youth, right? So not only does he work with older kids, but he works with a lot of our young ones and help develop them athletically and mentally, right? That means a whole lot to me because, again, being a father of 4 and, being an athlete myself and taking this stuff seriously, I don't trust anybody to work with these kids, and Scotty does a great job. So, man, thank you, bro. Appreciate you hopping on the podcast today. So, as you know, man, on this show, we like to drop gems. We like to talk about, things that are going to help people level up in life, right? And obviously, we got to talk about sports and nutrition and fitness, but we're going to dive into some other stuff too. But
with it,
first and foremost, man, give us a little background about your athletic career, your life, like what.
Yeah, I started in sports like probably 3-4 years old. My dad put me in karate, and from then, I mean, that was my first sport from the time I was 3 to about 14, I think.
Gosh.
I ended up being number 4 in the world in my age division. Took home plaques, multiples, for doing the accomplishments, but I ended up being a multi-sport athlete because karate was year-round. It was something that could just be done pretty basically and travel the same way like someone does for football or baseball. I did karate tournaments mostly growing up, and then got into baseball, did the same thing. Then didn't start playing football until 6th grade. Yeah. And then from there, fell in love, and I kind of just put everything else down and was like, yeah, let me just play this. So ironically, I was better at baseball.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with football and ended up going to college for it. And
That's what's up.
Played there, broke my hand, and that was kind of the decision to be like, all right, I need to. The dream for me was over. I was like, I think I've had enough. Let's figure out what to do in the real world now. So,
gotcha. That's what's up.
In a nutshell, I've been doing it since I could walk. You know.
Yeah. And might I add, one hell of an athlete, right? Like this guy can go. Speed, bunny hops, it's crazy. So, and he actually is training me right now, which I appreciate that, right?
It's fun.
I've been training people for 15 years, and every day I got to come up with a workout and think what's next and what to do and this and that. So, it's great sometimes to just let somebody else do all the thinking and all the programming and stuff like that. Yeah. And now I'm trying to get a little bit more athletic. So I'm not, sure of you. I've been bodybuilding for so long that I felt like I got, obviously super big and stiff, tight as a rubber band, popping Achilles and everything else out here.
Yeah.
So Scott is trying to correct that. He's trying to get me back on course here. So
went through my own injuries, so I had to change the way I was working out.
Right. So, the career, for yourself was over, but then you got into training others, right? When did that start? How did that all come about?
So I started training. I always kind of had a passion for it. I thought it was cool that you could, this was a niche form of training in itself. Because, working out in high school, I had summer workouts for football. I had same thing for college, but I never had specialized training. And when I was in college, I heard about Boost. From one of the guys that could pay for it on our team, he could, afford to go do it. So he went and did that. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that was a thing. So then once I got to school, I was like, yeah, let me check this out.
Yeah.
So I started training, I think about 2015 at 9 Round. And then I got my certifications through NASM. Around the same time, I worked at Boost as an intern, kind of unpaid, doing the same thing, but every single day was creating some type of workout for somebody, whether it be a 7-8-year-old to a client that just wanted to train with me because they wanted to lose weight and they wanted to support what I was doing back then. So it was like being thrown into the fire, just kind of figuring it out, but. It was fun because I had to go from, like I said, training one-on-ones to a class of 25 lacrosse kids that are mid-season. What do they need to be doing? I'm like, Okay.
He got thrown in that fire.
Yeah, man.
Had to figure it out quick.
And that was every single day, right? So every day I had to come in with a workout for at least 2 classes.
Yeah.
And that had to be considered, well, there had to be consideration for, is that athlete going to come in multiple times a week?
Right.
How many times are they coming in this week? Do they have a game this week? So I could write something, Sunday night,
Yeah.
and find out that they have a tournament on a Tuesday that's after school or whatever the case may be. And that whole game plan has to switch. And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. So now I got to rewrite that as I set up the class, do all this. And so it made me have to think on the fly, but I got really good at understanding what needs to be done for who in the moment and how to do it very, very quickly.
Right. So in the lines of actually programming and talking about athletes, right? We got parents that are watching. I'm sure, everybody wants their kid to be the best on the field.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm sure we got some athletes out there watching as well. What's your philosophy behind putting together a sports performance program for a kid who wants to be a monster on the field, right? Wants to be that guy.
If you asked me 10 years ago when I first started, it would have been, they just got to be explosive. They got to be power, explosive. Let's put them through, jumping, plyometrics, all this stuff right away. Go, 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 go. You ask me now, flexibility and resilience, flexibility and resilience, because I didn't realize back then that I could be as powerful as I want in 2 inches, right, of movement with a box squat or a deadlift, but realizing that I can now have that same power in a range of motion that's further, that mimics where I'm at full speed when I go out on the field or play, is vastly more it means way more to me now than it did back then. So I would take, for instance, my nephew had an injury. I think he tore or broke his hip because he was so inflexible. It just kind of detached, right? And I'm like, nobody wants to go through that, right? That's insane to think about. But I realized that's a very athletic kid that happened to, who just didn't have the flexibility. And then I see all the injuries that have happened since we grew up. The kind of the epidemic around our time was when turf got put in, the ACL injuries, the stiff ankle injuries popping and everything like that. Or you see dislocations all the time from just kneecaps but we were always told, hey, don't go knees over toes when you squat. Don't do any of this stuff.
Crazy.
And now there's new philosophies, the way that I like to train now is ATG. It emphasizes working out as best as you can without pain through those ranges of motion that are deeper than what previously was said in what I would say 50s or 60s.
For sure.
Because before that, guys were doing crazy lifts that had them named after them, right? Like the Nordics or the Smith curls, hack squats,
right?
Like George Hackman. That squat in itself is a crazy position to be in, but that man was jumping till his 70 or 80, so it's maybe it does work.
It's amazing. It totally makes sense, man. The more I've gotten into it, the more you've helped teach me about it. Because again, I was always taught no knees over toes, right?
Be safe.
Be safe. Slow, easy, never let your knees over toes. And that's what I would, preach to my clients.
Right.
But now, again, with the new light that's, been shined on the ATG program and everything, I can testify to it. It's legit, man. My knees feel better than they ever have. My ankles, everything is looser. I feel like an athlete. I don't feel like I'm gonna tear my ACL or my Achilles again when I go out there. So it's amazing. And I'm in total agreement with you. And I think too, because we've gotten older and we've experienced a lot of injuries and we're getting stiffer, it for us,
you get scared.
It comes to the top of mind. So any young athlete out there listening and watching, it's super important, right? Yeah. Don't skip the stability, mobility, flexibility drills. Don't you do it.
It should be, I think people don't think about enough that it should be in their programs as much as it's designed for professional athletes. But if you would I think a lot of injuries could be prevented if these kids and parents that want their kids to go play college or professional sports take the warm up and the stretching, the flexibility as serious
Gotcha.
as the numbers on the board
Right.
of what, well, he benches this, or he squats this, or he deadlifts this, or he jumps this high. It's like, yeah, but can he touch his toes?
Yeah. And it means a lot, like, right, being available, like, is huge. If you're hurt, then, I mean, somebody else is going to take your spots. The next kid is going to get the look when the scout comes. And for me, it hits home. Like, that was my biggest downfall is I could not stay healthy. I was always hurt. I've torn an ACL, AC joint, Achilles now. Like, I just tend to always get these major injuries that would slow me down and slow my career down. And, again, is why it hurts a little bit. Like, I wish I would have had that knowledge back then. I wish I would have been able to come to a trainer like yourself and learn.
That's literally why I like doing it now.
Yeah.
Because my parents didn't have the money to pay for
Same.
it. And it meant I would see it happening. Like when I was in high school, I remember seeing what Boost was at, I think, a Sports Lodge. When they first opened up. I think it's like Epic Church now. But they were training people over there, and I saw that. I was like, that's so cool. I want to go do that stuff because I know that pertains to being athletic.
Right.
Didn't have the money to pay for it, but now that I have the knowledge, I just like I don't care. Just like come to me, I'll give it to you. You know what I mean? Like I think it's great because one, I think more people should train this way.
Yeah.
You don't really think about it, but like say you have kids, right? You want to get out and run with your kids. You want to be able to do whatever your kids are involved in to be a part of it. But being able to do that at the drop of a hat is different than having to warm up or worry about actually hurting something just to get out there and have fun with them.
Right.
Right. And I've always thought of like, I don't care how old I get. I would love to be able to just run. I want to be able to run forever, basically. Like be able to get up to a full sprint. I don't care how I have to do it. I would like to be able to just run because like that in itself, it's the best thing you can do for your body is like full out sprinting. It's like one of the best exercises. But to be able to do that in old age just means that my body has been resilient throughout this whole process.
Right. Testosterone booster, man. Sprinting. Run.
It really is.
It truly is. Look it up if you don't believe me, right? Again, so I have one of the same goals, right? Is I just want to be able to run. And now one of my major goals right now is I want to be able to run under 11 seconds in a 100-meter dash, right? It's a big task for a 37-year-old guy who's been bodybuilding the last 8 years and was huge at one point.
Nothing's impossible.
Right. It's not impossible. But yeah, no, that's definitely one of my longevity. I'm thinking about that now, right? Now that I'm kind of putting bodybuilding behind me for the time being. I want to be limber. I want to be loose. I want to be able to run, keep up with my kids, make sure I beat them in races for a long time.
Yeah, bro.
And I got some fast kids too, so the day is coming sooner than later. But I'm gonna try to hold that thing off as long as I can.
That's how me and my dad were, and I loved every minute of it. Right?
Yeah.
But it created a competitive nature in me, but it also gave me an example because I was like, my dad was able to run and probably beat me till he was about 50, 52.
Wow.
And like I was like 14, 15 around that time. Like that was the first time I kind of crossed that threshold of like, all right, I'm fast.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm fast compared to other kids, but like now I beat an adult. But he's 52, but I beat an adult. It was a little different. So
nah, that's dope, man. That's dope. And staying in lines of kind of the youth sports performance, right? Mm-hmm. I think our society is so divided where we have ultra competitive, super travel everywhere, spend thousands of dollars a year to have, your kid be on a competitive squad. And I'm guilty of it. I can't say that I'm not. And also on the flip side, we have, in my opinion, what is the participation trophy culture, right? Where everybody gets to play, everybody gets to be a part of the game. What's your take on it? Where do you, if you had kids right now, where would you be leaning?
My kids would be playing whatever they wanted to play, right? Yeah. I don't really care. Fitness would be a part of their life 100%. And the actual, I think the drive, you to set aside the kids, the participation trophy right now. my kids would be doing weights and understanding life lessons through those weights. Like, hey, you got to push, but we need to do correct form.
Right.
Correct form is we have to do the right things to get this done the right way so we don't hurt ourselves. Same life lessons you can teach out in the real world. But the participation trophy thing, I can't agree with it, dude. I didn't grow up that way.
Right.
You know, like I grew up with, if you're not the best, you fight until you are the best.
Right.
That was karate 101. Like nobody's giving you points when you are punching somebody else, right, or kicking somebody else. You have to figure that out. So like my first sport was one-on-one combat. So it's like I had to understand that discipline wins championships, or repetitive action wins championships. Like just you can be as athletic as you want and still lose. I was more athletic than a lot of kids that I faced.
Right.
I wasn't disciplined in the art of karate, and so I would lose a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And so I didn't understand why until I went back to the drawing board and had to figure that out.
Right.
And so now I look at winning anything. Like let's go to these 7-on-7 tournaments that happen every weekend, basically, for anybody, just to have a, let's call it a money grab. It's really what it is.
Thanks.
And I look at those like, what are they actually winning, right? Because when I played, we went 7-on-7 camps. When you went with your high school, your bragging rights were across the state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're bragging to whoever you just put on an island out there. You know what I mean? Whoever you put on skates out there. Hey, buddy, I can see you on Facebook. We're coming.
Right.
I'll see you week 13, right? And that's how we did it. Like
Yeah.
I talked trash to whoever I lined up against because I felt that I was going to win. I didn't, especially in football. Like we were just talking about it earlier, right? Like a mentality on the field. For me, if I'm on defense, let's go be a crash test dummy. Because I know I want to hit. I got some anger I need to let out. This is the only place they're going to let me do it.
Do it without getting in trouble, right?
And I won't get in trouble and I won't hurt myself if I do it correctly.
Right.
So you can have fun, but it's still within the rules.
Yeah.
So I look at the way that just giving kids trophies for mediocre performances or mediocre leagues, or not really having them compete with and understand what real competition is unfair to them, because now they get older, they expect to be rewarded for mediocre performances in anything. Right. Oh, I did it. I showed up to work. Great. That's kind of the bare minimum to survive out here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a promotion for doing nothing. Like, well, so and so did this, and this.
Right.
But they got more money than me for the same thing. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, they made more money because they did more than you. Like,
yeah.
I was talking to, who was it? I think it was a coworker. I was talking to a coworker the other day that we were talking about our job salary, and he's like, man, I want to get to where you're at. And I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm where I need to be at.
Right.
Like, so don't look at me for what I'm like. You know, the mindset behind having less than somebody else, to me, was like, dude, I work my ass off for this, but I know you work hard. I'm getting paid more because I'm in the trenches of our job, but we're in two different fields.
Right.
Stay in your lane compared to do what you do. You're good at what you do. Be great at it.
Right.
We don't have enough of just be great at what you are, compete at what you're at and where you're at, and you will land, like the old saying, shoot amongst shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars, right? You'll win at some point, but like just giving people stuff doesn't make sense to me.
Side note, that was our senior quote, and I despised it.
Really?
Right. If I shoot for the moon, I want the moon.
No, I get that.
I don't want the stars.
I agree.
I don't care for them. Right?
I agree.
So like it's plan A or
but
nothing.
I'm shooting regardless.
For sure. You got to shoot your
Like,
shot, right? You
I'm
got to shoot
shooting
your shot.
regardless.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Man, and I asked that question because, you know, as a parent, I get torn so we've had a couple different type of experiences, right? For a long time, for the last several years, we've been playing. My boys have very competitive football organization, right? Where we travel, we spend a lot of money, and you don't always get the outcome you're looking for, right? Things don't gel, parents get upset, coaches, you know, it's tough. But around the city, they are the more competitive team around here, right? Anything else is a step down.
Okay.
So you think to yourself, like, well, I want my kid to have the potential to be the best. They want to be the best. They say they want to make it to the league and do this thing.
Right.
Then we keep rocking with this unorganized or crazy, this chaos that's what it is. And then we go and we try out for other teams that they don't understand what real competition is, though. Like that intensity level at practice, that push that the other players can provide and give just isn't there. They're used to just doing the rec ball and having fun and hoorahing. And it's tough, right? It's tough. I would be okay with the rec ball if it was more developmental, like more understanding of the coaching, this and that. But I think the level of coaching and the competitiveness in that coaching organization drops along with the players when the competition does.
Yeah.
Is what I've been seeing. So, we get torn because I don't want to spend $1,000 and have to travel all around the world for my kids to, just see some good competition.
You're right.
But at the same time, when we go anywhere else, is participation trophies, and that ain't making them no better. So, I was wondering.
It's weird because, like, I look at it like from a parent standpoint, you're only out there for the best investment for your child, right? You're out there to get them looks, get them the exposure that they need, but also to get them the experience, competition, and basically drive that they need to face higher competition.
Right.
But when I played in rec ball. I didn't play travel ball growing up. I played in rec ball, Pop Warner, right? And we had the same. The only atmosphere I've known is that competitive ball nature.
Right.
I've never been on a team where the nature of play was hoorah, hoorah, bro. If we're losing, someone's getting yelled at. Like, you know what I mean? If there's missed blocks happen, someone's coming out.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not the best that day, you're not playing. Like, I've never been around that. So for me, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how it's a thing. Like,
it's weird, man.
Football to me is one of those sports you can't do that with, because you're like, you have to, even as, I mean, you get older, probably like high school age, you start really understanding I have to be not a killer on the field, but I can't be this guy, this happy-go-lucky person on the field.
Yeah.
You're going to get hurt.
Right.
Like, we're moving at full speed, and we trained all year to be able to move this fast, calculated. Like, so you can't be that same person on the field. So I don't understand how people can go out on the field and be like, all right. It's great to have a good time. I joke with you on the field and whatnot, but like when the play, like the whistle blows, like there's a switch, and like that's the only switch.
That killer instinct. Yeah.
That's the only thing I know. Like, so I don't understand it.
For sure, absolutely, man.
I don't understand why you'd sign your kid up to put, like, why would you put your kid on the field with someone who thinks like that?
Because they don't know any better.
You know what I mean?
I truly believe that they just don't know any better. Or again, the whole stigma of it's a violent sport, it's a dangerous sport. Yeah. So,
and I'm being polite about the thought. You know what I mean? I'm being polite about it because you've been in the locker room.
For sure.
You understand what is said and what the thoughts that are going. Like, I'm gonna hurt this person, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same thoughts on the other side. You know that person. I'm gonna munch him, bro. Like,
you have to.
Like, it's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So like, I don't understand why people sign their kids up for such a violent sport, knowing that your kid's not a dog. You know what I mean? Like,
you got go pick up the pickleball paddle, dog.
Yeah,
like this ain't for you.
Just pick up something else. Like, it's just not like it's like the kind of the internet meme of the Oklahoma drill is now the, like, what's made so many basketball players or baseball players.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, you
gotta
find
be a
out
dog.
through that drill and many more, and hot summer days and
what you made
one-on-ones and conditioning, and like, do you have it in you, one, to be just the best on your team, and two, best outside of your team?
Yeah, but like you said, I think more so than anything, for me, is the life lessons that you miss out on, or the wrong lessons that you start to learn, right? I learned how to grind. I learned how to actually like work for what I wanted at a very young age because I played football. And I think if I didn't, if my parents would allow me to quit, because my first 3 years, I tried to quit every year, like multiple times, right? My dad even, he kind of played me one time, like it was like a Friday and he was like, all right, you can quit. You good. I think he just didn't want to take me on a Friday afternoon, right? But come Monday, he was like, it's practice time. I was like, I thought I quit. You thought you was? Nah, he was like, nah, go put the pads on. So it was right back at it. Yeah. So I knew for me, like, all right, he's going to force me to keep playing this game. So if I want to enjoy it, I better like try to be good at it. I better start working hard so I can compete with the dogs. So otherwise, I'm gonna be, the glorified tight end who never gets a pass, or a lineman, or sitting my butt on the bench. And I was like, if I got to be out here in the winter with snow, and I better be on the field scoring some touchdowns, right? You know so that started it all for me, dog. And I just, after that first summer of actually putting in the work, and I came back and I was awarded the opportunity to compete with the dogs, I was like, oh, okay. So you mean if I actually work hard, like this is what happens? Yeah. Okay, cool, let's do it. And then again, that also that dog mentality of like, that fight when it is cold, when every hit hurts, when you know what I mean?
It's things my favorite time to go hit because nobody wants to hit.
Nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to hit.
Who's gonna step up?
So as long as you hit first, you're good.
Yeah. No, you learn a lot of valuable lessons, I think, on that competitive level. So I'm obviously a big fan of it, and that's why I keep spending way too much money every year.
I do think it's a great thing. But I do think a lot of parents have gone overboard with how much their kid plays.
Right. What do you think about the one sport? We're going to focus on one sport. That's it. That's all you get.
Nah, I think it's best for what age? Like, first of all.
I mean, I'm gonna say preteen. Like anything like younger than you're preteen.
I would say, honestly, the younger they are, the more sports they play, the better off they'll be.
Yeah.
As far as just overall athletically.
Right.
Like, dip your hands into whatever. Because, one, you don't know what you're going to like.
For sure.
And two, you don't know what's going to spill into something else.
Yeah.
Or what you'll learn or feel like translates to another sport. So you want to keep doing one or the other. As you get older, stay busy. Like, the top athletes in the world that are getting paid, most of them played 2 to 3 sports in high school, if not played 2 in college,
right?
Or did some type of second routine if they're in gymnastics, or they're a different specialization for track. So I would say most of those guys end up playing more than one. I think it's great because you learn a different discipline, but you never know how much that other discipline is going to translate over to what you have in your main sport.
Right.
Or if it, vice versa, one, you're not the best in one, right? But you end up being the best in other. You got 2 options. And if you're athletic and great at both, just keep doing them.
Right.
Until it runs out. Like, there's colleges that'll pick you up for it,
Yeah.
There's sports all over the world.
Right. No, I agree. I'm a believer of it as well. Like, multi-sport, do everything you can. That was me, right? I was 3-sport athlete all my life up until college, where my head football coach was like, if you want to play, I would probably just be at spring ball. Don't think about running track. So it was like, okay, that's your way of saying no without saying no. But yeah, I think I think there are certain situations, right, when a kid becomes a teenager and they like really find this passion, this love, especially if it's an extremely skilled position, like being a pitcher or a quarterback.
If that kid knows, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? But as a parent, don't take it away. Don't take another sport away from them.
Right. Right.
It's not going to do any good.
Because like you said, I think they translate, like a lot of sports translate very well with each other, right? And I don't know if I were talking to you or somebody else just about that recently, is tracking the ball. Well, yeah, I've been working at Nike football camp all week long. So me and some of the coaches were there, where these young kids that we're working with, they don't know how to actually go and track a football, like go and find it, catch it, right? Yeah. They need it to be put right in their hands. And we talked about how, baseball players are great at tracking. Okay, if you can track this little white ball with this mitt, then when a football this big is coming at you, it's so much easier, right? But again, you see more and more parents now just committing to one sport, or like forcing their kid to be the next LeBron or this and that, which I think is a disservice to him.
Oh, 100%. Because two, like one, the kid most likely isn't going to play the sport that you, in your mind, think or want them to play.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Two, that kid, it has better competition than what we had back in the day.
Yeah.
Right. And that's even tougher. So just let them be a kid. You know what I mean? Like let them play whatever they want to play. Let them do however many sports they want to do. As long as they give the 100% effort the same way that they do with their initial sport.
Yeah.
Let them do it.
Yeah. And like you said, I think that the kids don't know either, right? I didn't know. When I grew up, I swore I was going to be the next Allen Iverson. Like, that was basketball was going to be my thing. I'm like, I'm short. He's short. I like number 3. He's number 3. Like, this is me, right? This is it. And I absolutely despise football. I didn't want anything to do with it. My father used to make me sit down and watch the Chiefs game. And when I was a kid, I didn't want to watch a 3-hour Chiefs game. I want to go play with my toys. You know what I mean? So I really didn't like football when I was younger. But because I put the effort in and I got better.
Yeah.
And then soon I'm like, wait, I'm way better at this than I am basketball. Now this is getting kind of fun, right? And that's where it led me and took me to college and played a little bit afterwards. But you never know, right? So that's awesome, man. Appreciate the insight.
No worries.
Now I'm gonna switch gears all the way, right? We've been on the athletes, we've been on the young kids for a long time. We're gonna talk about the adults. We're gonna talk about fitness, and the lifestyle. Now, me and you were talking a little bit earlier about some of the advantages of being fit, of being strong.
Yeah.
What's a huge advantage to you in life? What do you think?
Probably my libido. So I noticed, probably 14, 15 years old, we all just straight ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Every single morning. Just it doesn't matter who, where, what, when. You're just
let's go.
Hi. You know what I'm saying? You're like, hello, the world. Like, even if you're not awake, you're saying hi to the world. Right?
Let's go.
But I've always been fit, so I've never had to think about that, right? But I've heard men who have lost a ton of weight be like, "Man, I got my sex drive back," and I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I lost a lot of weight. Like, testosterone's up, and I'm ready to go again." I'm like, "Well, shit, dude. Like, what happened?" And so I started looking at it. It's you lose libido basically from your blood, I think it's blood glucose level, and being overweight. So for me, that's A1. Love it. I'm stamina wise, ready to go. I don't have to worry about that. It's just I don't know. You ever wake up in the mirror and just be proud to look at yourself? Right. That's self-love in itself. I think it's a great thing of being fit. I can say that I love the way that I look. I'm not I may want to lose a couple pounds here and there, but am I ashamed of myself? Never. Yeah. Right. And I think that's an important thing to be able to walk around with. A lot of people, I think they're ashamed of the way that they look because probably don't have the same knowledge or sometimes money, whatever their situation is, to get in shape. But a lot of it's just starting, right? Yeah. And I think that's, if you had played sports or anything like that, you got a pretty good head start on it. Right.
No, you hit it on the head, man. Those are two very important things on my list, and why I keep doing what I keep doing. I think to myself sometimes, how do other dudes perform in the bedroom, right? And I know that sounds weird. That sounds.
He said pause.
Pause. Yeah. No diddy. But I say that because for me it's like a workout, G.
Look, okay.
I'm planking forever.
Look,
I'm it is a workout.
So the internet video, people have their wife try to I guess, what do you want to call it? Fake hump a pillow the same way that we would be doing to her.
Yeah.
And it's for them, it's so hard for 20 seconds.
Right.
I'm that's the way that I think, right? So I was talking to Heather, and I was like, yeah, bro, it's a workout on this end. I don't think you realize that. This is a full workout. So this is great, and these are fun, but I just worked out at the gym, but now I have to go home and I have to go have another workout. I love this workout, but like, it's another workout, bro. I'm gonna need some calories
Put
afterwards.
these 2 days in.
Like, I'm telling you, just different type of 2 days. Still playing football, you know what I'm saying? But dude, it is.
It's work.
It is a workout.
I don't, you know what I mean? At least, again, and that's why I kind of like, sometimes I had these random thoughts of like, man, I'm worn out right now.
Yeah.
I'm huffing, puffing. My arms are like shaking.
Yeah.
My lats, when I'm in it from the back, my lats I'm like, Jesus, this is.
I might as well be in here lifting. Like, I'm
rowing,
not straight sweating.
Rowing 180 on the cable. Like, it's that. But that's one of the things that, again, kind of keeps me going. And like you said,
it's a benefit.
The libido. I have, again, in bodybuilding and even before bodybuilding, I've had points in my life where I've put on a lot of weight, right? When I stopped playing ball, the first time I put on about 50 pounds because I didn't understand nutrition. I still ate like I was a poor college athlete, McDonald's almost every day, and wasn't working out anymore. So boom, put it on there. And again, I certainly could tell you, like, it suffered then, right? My drive, my mental drive, and my sex drive, like it wasn't there, right? When you get it back, one, your confidence is up, you feel good about yourself, but the actual libido is now alive, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Working out has literally, like, I would say, keeps my libido in line.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I don't work out, I get depressed. Like, I don't feel like myself because I've been working out since I was like 3, right?
Yeah.
In karate, we did sit-ups, push-ups, squats, kicking, punching, all that. Like, so we're working out every single day. It was 5-6 days a week. I've been doing that style of just go my whole life. So if I don't have it, it's like I'm not getting like the serotonin boost, right? I'm not getting like what my body is used to or needs. And so that messes up everything else, right? That messes up work life because now I don't have the energy to like want to put into work. Messes up my relationship because I don't have the energy to put into the bedroom, and now it messes up my fun softball because now I'm like, man, I'm weaker than I used to be, or like I don't have the same energy to run around the way I want to or to perform out in the field. So for me, like working out hormonally, like it is a balance for me. Yeah. If I don't have it, I don't feel right.
Same, 100%. Now here's another tough one for you, right? You have this passion for fitness and working out, being in shape, looking good for yourself. Have you dealt with hard situations with a significant other not having that same drive or passion? Like, what is you being too fit, too in shape ever a problem, or what have you dealt with there?
No, I don't think well, okay, so let's not, I wouldn't say it's in the past, it wasn't like with a partner. It was with someone who was interested in me, but felt that they couldn't talk to me because we didn't live the same lifestyles, right? But I don't really have a preference when it comes to that. Like, there's a little bit. I want people to take care of themselves. If, like, I can be interested in you, all I want to know is that you take care of your body, yourself, and you're trying to be in shape for what's healthy for you. Right? I know there's different beauty standards across the world, whatever, but if you were to go to a doctor and a doctor says, hey, this needs to be checked out, we need you to work on this, and this, because you may be at risk for this, and this, hey, maybe take that advice.
Right.
Take that advice, work on it. And like, a lot of that comes down to just being more active, working out, doing something other than just eating and drinking, sitting at home, whatever people do. Everybody's got a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it comes down to just being cognizant and aware of where your health is going, right? Not where your health is at, but where is it going? Because it comes down to the patterns that you are living day to day. Right. I recently fixed my own, I was gaining weight kind of gradually and wasn't understanding why. I was like, dude, what is going on here? So I started tracking my food, and I'm like, oh, I'm just overeating.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not fat, I'm just overeating. That's all it is. So changed my diet, changed my, and just all it was is like slimming down, changing a couple foods that I was meal prepping, and getting into a small deficit. And I'm down like 4 or 5 pounds after like 2-3 weeks.
Right.
I'm like, oh. And I'm honestly not any more hungry than I was before.
The subtle changes.
Small, right?
They go a long way. Long way. I talked about that on the last one, right? Just eliminating things like soda, right?
Yeah.
Tons of sugar in it. And making small modifications, right? You don't have to necessarily have like, all right, you love tacos. Well, like, all right, let's just change the tortilla out. Let's try to find
eggshell, protein. I just did it today, actually.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's the little things that I think people kind of, I don't know, they don't feel like they weigh enough, or they feel like they gotta like scrap everything and go cold turkey. You know, obviously it takes time, right? The slower baby steps you kind of take, it's gonna take you longer to get there, but take them.
Well, like a good rule of thumb is like, how long did it take you to get to where you are?
Right.
It's probably going to take just as long to get back to or transform completely into what you want, because it didn't just happen overnight.
Facts.
Right? It was a gradual, slow thing. And like, that's the thing with like fat or muscle on people.
Yeah.
It takes time to build up. Like
Right.
you don't just go to the gym 1 week and then all of a sudden, like, you know, you have a great muscular stature.
Right.
You may go to the gym and 2 or 3 weeks see muscle has shifted a bit, right? It may look just a tad bit different.
Yeah.
Not gonna look a ton, but it looks a tad bit different.
Yeah.
That should be enough. Like, oh, this is working. Like, just keep going.
Keep rocking it out.
Keep going.
And that's the toughest part about it all, right? So it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. We all know what we should do. We just don't consistently do it. Right? We just don't consistently do it.
It is one of the easiest, hardest thing to do in the world.
For sure.
Right?
And it's funny, I especially new people that enter my life and we start hanging out and we do things, like everybody thinks that I eat like this vegan, like, you know, that's from the heavens. I eat. Trust me, I love to eat. I'm a foodie, right? Mm-hmm. But I understand, like, I can't always eat like that.
Right.
Right. But yeah.
And your portion control was probably under control.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Portion control, making sure, again, I am doing some kind of physical activity of, you know, at least 3 or 4 days a week. Right.
Right.
We'd say if there's 7 in a week, right, I want it to be on the majority side. So that's what I push for every week. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be super intense every day. It's just making sure that I'm moving, I'm active, I'm burning calories, and I'm just at least watching what I'm putting in my mouth, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the difference, man.
It really is. The weeks that we were lifting heavy, I was eating more, kind of overeating. I was gaining weight, right? Now we're lifting kind of in a more functional and stretching type of way, so I'm not burning as many calories, but I'm also not eating as much. And I'm losing weight, right? So which shouldn't make sense. Like, that shouldn't work, right? Because I'm not burning as many calories, but I'm eating less. I've adjusted to where the playing field is at, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't do that, right? But it's because they don't have the wherewithal. They don't know that, like, hey, if I'm backing off my workouts, well, I should kind of back off my eating too, because I'm going to be eating the same amount of calories and working out less. Well, now I'm not going to be in a deficit.
Right.
Just kind of, you know, like, think about where you're going to be at or where you're at, or kind of just planning ahead with your nutrition and taking it as serious as your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's just as important.
Your health, people, which baffles me. Your health. It's the only one you got, bro. Like,
nobody else is gonna do it for you either. Like, promise you.
It's tough, man. It's tough, and it's a struggle. Again, obviously with clients, some clients, you know, I feel like I want it more than they do. Especially when I hear stories from what the, you know, doctor has told them, or how they feel about their spouse, or how they think their spouse feels about them, right? And it's like
the hardest, hardest thing about being a coach.
Yeah. It's I would say it baffles me sometimes, you know. But not say not baffled, because I do understand it. I do know there's a mental kind of barrier that they just can't get over that hump. They can't get over that wall. But, you know, it's just so hard, like you said, being a coach and seeing that, and you like, if I could just give you some of my my threat, my drive, man.
See it every day with kids, and I see it with adults.
Yeah.
For kids, it's more the drive. I wish I could give you the drive that I had, like going at my sport. Especially when someone is a freak athlete
see the
and
gift,
they just don't care.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
Bro, I just want to rip it out of their hands. I'm like, I'll give this to this kid. Dude,
Right.
You don't deserve this. You're wasting this,
Yeah.
right? But it's kind of the same with adults.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to having the knowledge or giving them the knowledge, giving them the tools to do it, it's like, here you are. Here's the tools. Now just follow the plan.
You got to do it. Yeah.
Right, and doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, your plan didn't work. I'm not fit now.
Right.
And I'm like, you didn't follow the plan, because the plan is very simple. Like,
Yeah.
The plan is written out on
Yeah.
paper. Actually, it's asking you to track it. Did you track it? No, you didn't track it. So, well, that's part one of the problem,
Yeah.
right? And it's a revolving circle. It feels like with adults, but with kids, it's just they don't know what they don't know yet. Right?
Yeah.
They don't know where they're at in their life with that talent to be like, oh, I have to turn this on.
For sure. For sure.
know?
No, I hear you, man. What I kind of want to go back real quick to, we kind of, touched on it a bit. So as long as your lady or whoever you're dealing with, right,
Yeah.
is attempting to take care of themselves,
Yes.
you don't necessarily have it. If they're big, they're small, you don't really care, as long as they're getting it in and taking care of themselves, right?
As long as you're towards, like, if you're on your way towards, like, where you should be, right, or where you want to be when it comes to your health.
Yeah.
You're on your way towards that or maintaining that. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like the minute you stop doing that, that is like a no. It's like a no.
It's a killer for you.
100%, because like you lose like muscle. Like, I think it's like you lose like 3%, or women lose 3% of like muscle, like capacity
Yeah,
or
muscle.
being able to muscle mass every like year or 3 or 4 years or something like that. So if you're not working out for it, you're only damaging yourself.
Right. Yeah,
And the
especially
same
over a
thing
certain
for
age.
us, because we have testosterone, and then like if that goes down, our muscles just start to wilt, right? We start looking like saggy old man, right?
Yeah.
So like you have to keep doing these things, not only for. I think it's important to keep someone's attraction, like, and taking care of yourself is one of the most attractive things you could do, because that's the person that signed up to live with you and look at you every single day,
Right.
Right? You're not doing that. That's kind of disservice to your partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about makeup and all that. I'm just saying taking care of yourself.
Right.
Like, for better or for worse, a lot of these cases that you see, the for worse is health issues.
Yeah.
Because the person is stagnant. They didn't take care of themselves in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And
now you as a spouse have to deal with that.
Bro.
You have to pay the bills, and you have to, help them.
I watched it happen. I
Yeah.
watched it live. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, like, I don't want to go through that.
Right.
I not at all.
Yeah.
And I've seen it not only in from my family. I've seen it in other places, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
that seems so sad.
Yeah.
Like,
No, without a question. And I agree with you. I know, we have our talks and kind of talk about it, mano a mano. But I just want, like, ladies, if you're listening, if you have a fit guy, just take care of yourself. It doesn't, again, I like my big ladies.
Yeah.
I love them thick. I love them small. I love women, period. Love my wife. She better take care of herself, right? Or otherwise, I mentally have a struggle, right?
Yeah.
And it's not, again, I'm not telling her she's got to be skinny. She's got to be a trophy wife on my arm. But I have to see an attempt of, we're working out.
Yeah.
We're trying to eat right.
everybody comes in different shapes and sizes, so I'm not going to fault people for, like, there are generally some just large humans,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, this man, he's a large human. You are you're a giant human. That's all I'm saying, right?
Big.
Like, and your frame allows him to have that, like, extra just build to him. So, like, I get that some people are like that. What I'm saying is, like, past the point of that, of what your body naturally carries, it's your responsibility
Right.
to maintain what is what attracted your partner in the first place.
I completely agree. I think so. I mean, because to say that like, oh, you should love me how I am. Like, yeah, no, I love you, but it's not what I was attracted to when we first got together, right?
Yeah.
Like, if that changes, what efforts are you putting to put that spark back into my eyes, right? If you're not doing anything, then I feel like it's almost a slap in the eye, like in the face, right? Like you there has to be something there.
So I feel that like when you look at a relationship, like I know like once you're past the point of like, let's call it 6 months of a relationship, you're in it because you like the person, what they're about and all this, right? But at the end of the day, like if I'm going to be your responsibility and you're going to be my responsibility, well, this responsibility game plan needs to require action plan for both of our healths.
Right.
And insurance isn't covering everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need you to take care of yourself and I need to take care of myself. So one of us doesn't get stuck in a bad situation. And that's the way that I look at how a partnership or marriage should be, because why would you burden your partner if you could have just prevented this, right? You could have prevented a lot of the health issues that happen with a lot of people and their partner and their spouse from just taking care of themselves.
Right.
And now it's a problem later on in life when you don't have as much money, right? Or you're not working, so you're dependent on your insurance and your doctors and all this, and family who doesn't really want to take care of the burden that is your health, right? And that sucks to say, but like that's the reality of it. Like your health is now burdening someone else's life when they could have had great times with you on vacation or with the grandkids or hanging out. You know what I mean? So like these choices, it's the same way. I view it the same way as an investment for money, right? You save up early, you keep saving over time. You build interest and you get money, and so when you retire, you have something to kind of live off of. Your body's the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree, and I think
It's
like
the same exact way.
the physical health is. I think the mental health is just as important as the physical health,
100%.
Right? Obviously, yes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, like type 2 diabetes, it's all leading down that way, right? If you're eating crappy, if you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like you're soon to be down that path. You're going to catch one of those cases, if not all of them. But on top of that, it's now your spouse has to deal with your mental lack, your capacity, like to be affectionate, to want to be physical, right?
Yeah.
Like my libido is going nuts over here and yours not so much, right? But in either case, man or woman, right? Like I think it's unfair to be in that situation.
It is.
So I think everybody should have a responsibility of again, at least getting to the point where again, you're physically healthy and you're mentally healthy. Like when you look in the mirror, you're like, all right, I may not be exactly where I want to be, but I like what I see.
I like where I'm headed.
I'm about to go tear something up, right? You got to have, if you don't see that in yourself when you look in the mirror, I think everybody should be working towards that path, right?
You should like what you see in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like you have to walk around with this thing all day.
Oh, yeah.
It's your body, you know, like.
Right. And it's crazy, dude, because, you know, we have the InBody, it's our body scan here. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty darn close. And it amazes me because when I do consultations, I ask people and I tell, you know, it's not the end all be all. I don't need you to get fixated on a number, but when's the last time you felt good? You felt healthy. You liked what you seen in the mirror. Like, what was that weight? Right. And they'll tell me. And then that sheet will spit it out. Like, you need to lose 70 pounds. And whatever number they gave me, it'll be close to like that 70 pounds. We as human beings know
exactly what we need. Like what we felt good when we looked good, like what we liked in the mirror. And I'm telling you, bro, I would say 99% of the time I ask that question, it's just like right there, man. Yeah.
Right there.
Your body knows.
Yeah.
Your body knows.
So again, it's just, you know, it's my goal. Like I want all couples to kind of think in that fashion, right? Whether it's the guy or the girl, this and that. Like it's unfair for you to like put that burden and say, hey, you should accept me how I am now, or this and that.
I've never liked that phrase, like accept me as I am or take me as I am. And I'm like, that is so unfair because like people change, things happen, and one, like the whole point of picking a partner to live life with or to create a better life with is to create better selves in that life.
Yeah.
So if you're just gonna stay the way that you are, you're literally not doing what you signed up for.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
Right.
You know, like that's not fair at all.
Yeah.
The whole point of a relationship or marriage is to like accomplish goals together.
Yeah.
Right. This is off our checklist. We got married. We bought a house together. We got kids together. We went on vacation together. We started a business or we saved investments. Right. But what about our health? Did we get healthy in the meantime?
Yeah.
Like, because none of that shit matters if you don't have your health.
Facts.
Right. And that's, to me, it's always been number one.
Facts.
Like,
All right, man. Well, again, we're gonna get out here on a couple. I got a couple questions for you before we get out real quick. What kind of gem can you drop for a up and coming coach or athlete? What's the best piece of advice you would give them?
Dude, stretch.
Yeah.
Stretch in the ranges of motion that you perform in, right? So fully elongated, like ATG, split squat, do yoga, do Pilates, do stuff that forces you to stretch and strengthen muscles at the same time.
Gotcha.
That foundation in itself has been tremendously helpful for repairing injuries that I've had since being an adult, but also just allowing me to move freely on the field when I run. Like I don't feel tight, right?
Yeah.
I can get out right now, take off full sprint, I don't feel tight.
Yeah.
Which is like that's little kid type stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've never felt like that as an adult. So just do that at the very simplest form. Just stretch. Like it's so important. Stretch and pay attention to how you eat. Like,
Yeah.
Two probably most important things. Numbers are great on a board. Heavy numbers look great, but like, can you perform like one of the standing pancakes, right?
Yeah.
How strong is your groin, which is one of the first injuries to go, right? Mm-hmm. That knee, hamstring, first three to go. How strong are those things in deep ranges of motion?
Yeah. Nah, man, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Again, this is my brother Scotty, and I love him because not only is he a great athlete, but he's an enigma. I mean, dreads, face tattoo, anime piercing or earrings, and intelligent as all out, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show, dog.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Get you on again, bro. Thank you.
I'm excited.